I was raised in an Amish family. We drove horse and buggy. We didn't have electricity. I was rushed to the hospital. I said, Lord, if you heal me.
Okay, welcome back to Testimonies Unfolded, where we bring stories of people who have witnessed the power of God in their life. Today I am very excited and feel privileged to be with today's guest, Jason Troyer, who is my father-in-law. Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive right into it. You can start by giving us a peek into your just your upbringing, where you come from, and all of that.
Well, Josh, my story started when I was 2 years old. When I was 2 years old, I became very sick, and they took me to the hospital. So,
Oh, wow. What was the sickness?
Well, so they took me to the hospital, and I had the symptoms of appendicitis, and they didn't know for sure if that's what it is or not. So the local doctor decided to...
So 2 years old, what made them think it's appendicitis? Just a lot of crying, or?
A lot of stomach aches.
Sure you weren't having too many words
I was
then.
pulling my legs up like people do when their appendix bursts, or like when it hurts and it gets inflamed. So I had all the symptoms. But the doctor, for some reason, decided to not perform a surgery. So they put me on a strong antibiotic, and they sent me home. And I survived that incident. But then I was sick for 7 years. So for 7 years, my stomach...
Wait, so you actually had the problem, but they didn't fix it?
That's right. And so for 7 years...
Did the doctor know that you had the problem, or what was going on there?
He knew I had a problem, but he didn't know what caused the problem. Because like daily or weekly, I would have these stomach aches.
So he told your parents that everything will be okay or something, I'm sure?
He just said, we're uncertain what the cause is, but we'll just give these antibiotics.
Wow.
And so I lived for 7 years with stomach pains, and I had a hard time digesting solid food. But I soon figured out that I'll have a lot less pain if I just eat like liquids and soft foods like bananas.
Applesauce.
And applesauce. And so, but at the age of 9, I got really tired of these stomach aches. Like I had pain daily. I'd lay on the floor and I'd roll from side to side and moan.
Unbelievable. And I can imagine you got tired of it. 7 years of
7 years. And so
even...
So
you were going to school during this time?
Yeah, thank you. Even during school, like the principal would take me home at noon because my stomach was hurting so bad.
So what did your teacher think? You come to school every day and this problem never goes away. Did you never ask about it and stuff?
I'm still in question about that. I don't know. So I'm uncertain what they were thinking. But at the age of 9, I decided that, hey, I am just going to start praying to God, because it seems like the doctors and no one could figure out what was causing my pain. So in my mind, I just started praying and begging God. I said, Lord, if you heal me, I will do whatever you ask me to do. I'll go wherever you ask me to go. But I just...
So when you did this, what kind of family were you raised in, and was that a common thing to do? Or was that like abnormal for someone to commit themselves to God like that?
I was raised in an Amish family where we drove horse and buggy. We didn't have electricity and we didn't have cell phones. So it was a very simple lifestyle, but it was a good life. And
is that something your dad talked about growing up, like God and serving God and all of that?
Because I was a sick child and unhealthy, I did get a lot of encouragement to read the scripture and to put my faith and trust in the Lord, yes.
Okay, so yeah, take us back to what you were saying, your instance there where you cried out to God.
So at the age of 9, I just began to beg God. I said, if there's a way that you could heal me or something you could do, I would be indebted to the Lord if He would heal me. So the next day, I was rushed to the hospital because I had like a really, I had like an extra big stomach ache attack,
Okay.
and it hurt really bad. So my parents decided to take me to the hospital. When I arrived at the hospital, they said, hey, it looks like there's symptoms of appendicitis, but we don't know. And so they decided to just do exploratory surgery. They didn't know what was wrong, but they just opened my stomach. And then the doctors found that my appendix had burst. They were like, something happened a long time ago, because it was just shriveled up, and they said like a pea size, small as a vegetable.
Unbelievable.
And my stomach was full of scar tissue and adhesions, so they worked on cleaning out my stomach for 4 hours.
Wow.
And after 4 hours, they were done. And they sewed me shut, and in a day or two, I went home and I became very well.
So you're telling me that your appendix had burst when you were 2 years old, what it seems like, and you lived with this for 7 years.
Yes, and then when the doctors told my parents that, well, at some point this small child, their appendix had burst, and then my parents remembered that, oh, when I was 2 years old, I was very sick.
So I assume you went to a different doctor than you did back when you were 2.
I did, went to a different doctor for sure.
So take us from there then. Where did that take you? You're getting better now.
So I
You're
went
9
home.
years old?
9 years old, went home from that surgery, and I became very well. I was like the happiest child on the
I
planet.
believe it. After 7 years of that.
And I became like completely well.
Wow.
So I was so happy.
So how much had this affected your life in these 7 years? Like, were you known to be the sick child or something? Like, your friends, did they know about this problem, or was it not very obvious?
Yes, everyone could see. I was like very skinny, and my color of my skin was kind of purple and yellow. And in fact, I was had such an ill look that I was scared to see myself in a mirror. And every day I would comb my hair, but I would never look into a mirror. If I'd walk past a mirror, I would just look away because I didn't like to see myself.
Even wow. Wow. So you came through this, and you had told God that if you heal me, you're going to do whatever He wants you to do. So now, how did that work out in the next years, and how did that take you to the next step and where you?
Well, so it went until I was 12 years old.
Okay.
On this specific Sunday, the preacher was teaching the conception, the birth, and the life and the ministry, the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And like at the end of the message, he says, and this Jesus wants to be your personal friend. And I was thinking, if that's a fact, I have to know. I have to know if Jesus is living, if He's real, and if He can be a personal friend. So I went home from that church service in pursuit of the truth.
Okay.
So that Sunday evening, I went to my bed, and we didn't have electricity. We just had oil lamps. And I remember kneeling by my bedside, and I just began praying. And I was like just begging God. I said, God, if you are real, and dear Jesus, if you want to be my friend, I want to know. I want to know if it's possible. So then, at that point, it felt like His Spirit came and met me in my mind, and He was like, Jason, do you remember back when you were 9? And I'm like, yes. He was like, do you remember that prayer? And I was like, yes. And he was like, that was me that healed you.
Wow.
It wasn't men and it wasn't the doctors,
Wow.
but I am the healer.
Because it was right after that prayer that all this
Yes.
came about, right?
And he was like, I brought complete healing to you. The doctors can clean you up, they can sew you shut, but I heal the body.
Wow.
And then following that, he was like, Jason, do you remember that commitment? And I was like, oh, I forgot. I forgot I had made a commitment. And so he reminded me about that. And following that, I started having ideas and like a dream or vision or something. I kept seeing people all over the world, and I kept seeing volumes of people, different people groups, people in the cities. And I just saw people living life and going through life and heading towards eternity. And then, like the next morning, I woke up and I just saw myself as being part of his kingdom.
Wow.
And so I started seeing every person as an eternal soul, and I didn't see them as denomination and so much as people groups, but every person has the same value in the presence of the Lord. Every person has the same value in the mind of God.
Wow.
No matter what someone's ranking is in society, God values every person equally. And every soul is worth innumerable amount.
Wow, so that was the beginning of the next however many years of walking out what you committed to God that day.
Yes. And so I started seeing myself as part of his kingdom. And from that point forward, I started like really engaging in Bible memory.
Okay.
And I would always carry this little red pocket, Gideon's pocket Bible. And I would memorize a lot of verses. And if I had opportunity, I would share with other people verses that I was memorizing. And by the age of 16, I was talking to people in other cultures about the Lord.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's an amazing story, and I know there's a lot more that could be said. You were, I know you were at one point in Canada on an Indian reserve, serving God up there, reaching out to the people there, and a lot has happened in between. But yeah, just give us a little bit, hop into today, and just give us a little bit of a peek into what you're up to today now and what that looks like here in Akron.
So God has given us the opportunity to reach out to other people groups here in Akron. Akron is a city that is like a city of immigrants, because there's agencies here that help people come from other countries to here, and they go through like the legal process, help people with their paperwork, and they bring them here. So therefore Akron has immigrants from quite a variety of countries. A lot of times they lived on a refuge camp and they didn't know what their future's going to be. But after living there maybe 20 years, all of a sudden they get approved to come to America, and they get here, and so we get involved in helping them adapt to America and the way of life here. And with that, we get to serve them, we get to help them integrate and show them the love of Christ.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about Hope Christian School.
So Hope Christian School is basically students that come in here are maybe sort of at a cliff where maybe they're getting expelled, or maybe they're not accepted in another school. And so a lot of times they come here, and we help them develop their academic skills, and also help them through spiritual challenges, emotional difficulties, And it's encouraging to see these young people make a decision to trust the Lord, and with that receive the blessing of God, and they have a great future.
What about, let's just say someone wants to get more involved here with what is going on here in the city, or supporting the school or anything like that? Is there a way to find you?
Yes, we have a website, Global Immigrant Platform, and you can even specify Akron, Ohio, and you should be able to find us on a website. And on there, it describes or informs you the variety of ways to get involved.
Very good. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and I will link a link to Global Immigrant Platform in the description, and check it out. There's a lot going on in the city. There's a lot of needs, and a lot even here with the school, Hope Christian School. There are currently how many students at the school?
17.
17 students at the school. So a lot going on, many ways to get involved. Prayer is the first thing. So thank you for your support and prayers, but look us up, look them up on the website. We'd be happy for any kind of support in God's work. Again, Jesus is the way, let's not forget. And he is there for anybody who reaches out to him. So thanks again, Jason, for coming on.
Thank you.